Hello, and welcome to youtube.com. Hello, and welcome to www. Welcome to http. Hi, my name is Casey. Welcome to www.youtube.com, the only place on the internet where I say I hope you enjoy my content, and I don't mean it. My name is Casey, and I'm just like you. I'm a girl with a passion for fashion, average sewing skills, and a heart the size of a very plump grapefruit. I prove that anyone, even sentient snakes, can make really cool outfits. Today, I've made a Rapunzel costume because Rapunzel is my favorite princess. If you think you like Rapunzel more than me, you are just incorrect, and I will fight you in a court of law. I will sue you, and I will win, and I will take everything you love and everything you own. I have a concussion. Rapunzel's my favorite princess. She's been my favorite princess for probably forever, or at least since 2010, because before that, it wasn't really the Disney version of it. It was just like the regular one with the cabbage or lettuce or whatever. You'll say I don't have blonde in my hair, but I mean, what is this? Huh? I really relate to Rapunzel because, just like her, I did not leave my room for the first 18 years of my life. I'm like filming a little bit further away because I have really dry skin right now, and like I'm just oily. I am oily, I am slick. If you follow along and make this, you might get the same compliment that I actually got, was that it looked like it could be store-bought. Like, wow, thank you.
Thanks.
Stay tuned for my vlog tutorial and meet my new beautiful assistant, Kathy. Who is your favorite Disney princess? Or you can tell me why you think Disney is a mega corporation that needs to be broken up by Congress. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who should I dress up as next? I hope you enjoy the video. If you don't, that sucks. All of my material is thrifted again. We love saving money and making use of things that already exist. This curtain was like $3, but has some fuzzy stuff at the end I have to remove. I'm gonna save it to make a hat or something.
The only thing I've ever done is normal stuff. I literally only do normal things. Tell me I'm normal.
Sure.
Sorry, what? Is there a problem?
Yeah, she's in my face. She's threatening me.
You know, I feel like maybe you're both adults, so you could resolve this peacefully.
Out of another pair of curtains, I cut off a long strip to make a belt. I end up not using the belt, so say goodbye to it, because this is the last you're gonna see of it. I use this wacky technique I like to call measuring to try and cut the skirt correctly. Of course, a lot of this is still guesswork, so I'm not really sure what this amounts to. I am doing my best. I cut out a second piece to make up the back of the dress, and then it was New Year's Eve, and thanks to the situation, we decided to do an online countdown. I thought this would be a good time to do some hemming, but I mostly drank wine and watched Waluigi thirst traps. Don't ask me about the Waluigi thirst traps. Boo-ba, 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 ba, boo-ba, boo-ba. We went to Target. I'm a homeowner. Please leave, you're trespassing.
I'm here to talk to you about the extended warranty.
No! This is my... Yes?
What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm an investment banker.
Whoa. Yeah, this is 1200 cc's. You couldn't handle this.
When you come back from Target, you should then cut a white bed sheet to be a little bit longer than your skirt so that the lace will peek out. That's the dress form. I named her Kathy after the only correct person to support in the semi-autobiographical musical The Last 5 Years. Kathy was in the right, Jamie was in the wrong. Drape it around Kathy, whose biggest crime was jealousy and being unsupportive of a man who's cheating on her for half of their relationship.
Yet somehow, she's painted as being half as wrong in this. I guess you can tell who wrote this musical. I have a lot of opinions about The Last 5 Years.
The fuzzyless curtain is going to be the middle of the skirt. I cut it to size and I cut a second piece to match before sewing them together, right sides kissing.
Just like Jamie kissed Elise in The Office.
I leave the top open and I flip it inside out because at the time I foolishly thought there would be a belt.
I am definitely a little fearful that as I am shoving pins into this, one day I will accidentally just shove it like into my wrist and die.
I know some of you might be disappointed in me, but I did do some thinking with how I wanted the skirt to look. I know that thinking beforehand is not usually my style. Everyone kind of likes my sort of, I'm like a cowboy. I'm a Western movie star, always doing things that are outside the boundaries of the law. My favorite princess, Rapunzel, has a single connected skirt, and I really didn't want to get it wrong and botch the whole thing from the get-go. Side note, what would you call my hair color? Dirty blonde? Brown? I pinned wrong side of the skirt to right side and planned to sew with the top stitch, just hoping that it would come out good. I went really slowly to make sure it was all coming out okay, and surprisingly it did. Wow, POV, you're the ground and I am sewing on you.
It's time for us to put new shoes onto the Cinderella because the stand that I received was actually defective. If you look, you can see that this is actually too small. Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to be.
If you're following this tutorial, now is when you learn how fragile your fabric is. This is why you shouldn't let your pins play Beyblade. You don't want to let it rip. You've got to be careful going forward so that you're not going to rip the fabric apart. Finish attaching the front of the skirt.
David and I are just both watching Eddie play video games.
I'm shaking the baby, it's fine.
This is literally... Don't.
Then attach the two sides of your underskirt together. Don't make this in a normal way because you of the past is still assuming you're going to put all of this in a belt, okay? So do this in the most convoluted, annoying way possible. Put the lining layer in the skirt, pinning it to where you want it to go. Make sure the lace is showing at the correct length at the bottom. You could always just put lace on the bottom of the outer skirt if you want to make your life easier, which is truer to the park version of the dress too, but I like being difficult. But since I don't want to try and figure out the skirt anymore, let's take a diversion and start making the corset top. Drape a white bedsheet over Kathy and start pinning it into place. I've never pinned a dress form like this, so it took me a little bit to figure it out. I did also go stare at some of the Disney Park princesses as references. She's so buff. Gotta be when you're giving men brain damage from hitting them with frying pans. I cut out 2 front panels, 2 front side panels, the back side panels, and then 2 back panels. I left the middle front open because this is where the separate modesty panel is gonna go, and it's also gonna have the lacing, so I didn't want to make a size that would be incorrect for the front, so I just let it go. Kathy's arms were too loose, and so it was driving me bonkers. So we ripped this poor girl's arms off and tightened them. If only Ashley Cachadorian had been watching the door, this little girl would have her arms. Using the pieces I'd pinned, I began cutting out pieces of fabric, leaving space for seam allowance. I did cut them a little bit extra just in case, but if you're good at sewing, you can do it normally. Also, I'm now obsessed with these rolling cutters and cutting mats. They're lifesavers. Then I cut out lining layers from a different bed sheet, a purple one, to go on the inside of the top. Pin the pieces together and try it on for size.
We're having really intense debate about whether or not I relinquish my rights to the rest of these garlic knots.
Take these 2 away, because in the 5 minutes when I am about to eat these 2, and you come back and go, ooh, there's 2 left, can I have these? No, they are mine. You've relinquished all rights to said garlic knots.
I just don't feel like that's legally sound. We have joint custody of the garlic knots, and I don't have to eat the garlic knots right now if I don't want to.
They're not gonna be warm.
That's fine.
They're not
I
gonna
want
be
the
edible.
option. So I tried on the top and it was too big, which is fine because better too big than too small. And then I just, see those over there? That's all the layers for the top, which I didn't record it because it was boring. So I watched YouTube videos instead. So now I just gotta attach all of them and make sure it fits. And if there are any healthcare professionals out there, please leave your diagnosis for me in the comments, because I just ate some Swiss rolls and the bottom was open, but I really wanted to eat them, so I did, and they tasted kind of weird, so I'm afraid that I'm dying because of poison. So if this is my last video, I hope that you all liked it, and if I don't die, then I think that means that I'm immune to poison. I just need you all to see this amazing thing I'm seeing. Look at this proud parent.
If you want your skirt to be more flowy, you can cut out extra fabric. I'm trying to be careful as I need this for the sleeves later on, the remaining fabric, but the skirt needs more movement. I made mine a trapezoid to add length to the waist, but you can make it more pizza shaped to keep the waist of the same size. I cut the skirt down the center in the back, pinned my new fabric piece, and then sewed it all together. So adding the extra fabric onto the back has made it look a lot more flowy, and it looks a lot better. More reminiscent of how the dress looks in the movie. And now I'm going to actually use elastic so that, you know, I don't want to have to try and squeeze into this fabric. It's just kind of annoying. At the waist, I pinned the fabric to create a tunnel for the elastic and then pinned it and sewed it together. My plan for the top layer of the skirt was to just pin the top layer over the bottom layer, then I flipped it inside out and sewed onto the bottom layer so the seam wouldn't show. It worked, but there was probably a way better way to do all this, but it's a skirt, baby. If you're not making this right now, you have no room to criticize me, okay? I'm out here in the trenches. Back to the corset. I used my cutout pieces as a guide for the seam allowance and began attaching the inner layers of the corset to the outer layer, only sewing the bottom. The sides I'm going to be attaching to other sides of the corset, so I don't want to sew those.
Okay, I've got this, which is gonna be one side. Where's the one that attached? I literally just sewed it. I don't know. Maybe. Is it this one? I don't know. Maybe. Don't worry, I found it. The dress can commence.
I started attaching the pieces of the corset together, again using my white pieces as a reference for the seam allowance.
My life is just a repeat game of where is this thing, where is that thing. It's like I'm constantly losing my scissors, constantly losing my little corsage, and so I'm trying to sew the different pieces of the vest together, and it's like it's not a vest, it's a corset.
I'm just not very good at keeping track of things. That is why for Christmas I asked for like 100 different organizers, and so far it's helping, but nothing could stop me from putting my scissors under a table or on a shelf or in a drawer. Pin more pieces, sew things together. I know, what a shock. For the front pieces, I pin them down and then measure where I want the eyelets to go. I'm using just a little pen that's air soluble, and I'm gonna just make a note of this for later.
It's the horse nature tube. Okay, bestie, so I am definitely finishing this dress today, or at least I'm gonna try. So Kathy here is half dressed. So it's got this top part basically ready to go. And by that I mean it's still got quite a ways to go. The skirt's like pretty much done aside from some minor alterations. And if you're wondering why I am so shiny, it's because I am covered in probably 1,000 different types of oils and lotions and creams. Let's hope this works. I don't know how to make sleeves.
It was fine, and wow, really good shots of my hair, nice going.
So here it is currently. I feel like I could just wear this as a vest. I like how it's looking so far. Like adjust in the back so that it fits just a little bit tighter, but pose. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like cute. I don't know, I kind of like it.
It's called fashion, sweetie. Look it up. Paint your eyelets, but also don't. It's a waste of time. Because the hammer is going to remove the paint when you hit it, so either use something stronger than old childhood acrylic paint, or the riskier move of painting the eyelets when they've been inserted, which is what I ended up doing. I used my little scissors to cut holes where the eyelets were going to go. After making the first hole, I got the hang of it. It's not that bad.
So I broke something. Hammering the first eyelet.
Don't worry about what I broke. It's not your business, and I already ordered a replacement, so it's fine. Then I went to the thrift store.
Pink, the Herald Angels.
When I came back from the thrift store, I decided to work on the sleeves. I made up a mock-up using extra white bedsheet fabric, and then cut out extra from the same fabric I used to make the bottom skirt and corset. Again, leaving room for seam allowance. I cut some ribbon to go on the sleeves, spacing it about 2 inches apart. I ran out of ribbon right at the end and had to make do, but the lesson is always buy more ribbon than you think you will need. Every project that I've had ribbon, I've ran out. You always need more ribbon. I glued the ribbon onto the sleeve using fabric glue. Less is more because too much and you can clearly see the glue through the fabric. To make the sleeves puffy, I measured out some tiny elastic to my big strong bicep. If you hit the gym a lot, you might need more elastic to contain them. Create a tiny little tunnel for your elastic and then snake it through. What do you think the next step is? You guessed it, take a long holiday and then attach your puff sleeves to the corset. My favorite Princess Rapunzel doesn't end her sleeves there though. She has longer pink sleeves that extend out. So I had a thrifted pink t-shirt. I decided I did not want to wear the shirt underneath, so I removed the sleeves at the seam.
Literally forget what I said earlier. This is a look. This is a look. I would just wear this.
Literally reinventing fashion and changing the game every day. Put those sleeves inside the puff sleeves, and then the puff sleeves into the sleeve hole, and the sleeve hole on the corset, and the corset in the bog down in that valley. Oh. Where is our Irish princess, Disney? Where is she? For the modesty panel, I measure out about one arm seam to the other and to the end of the corset in length. I'm going to attach it there and then have either hooks or Velcro to secure it inside. I I think the material is stuff that's hung at the bottom of the bed, like a bed skirt. I also cut some additional lining layers and attached them. Then I pinned it inside the corset into the seam where the front panel and front side panel meet, making sure that the top and bottom hit where I wanted to. Sewed it on one side. On the other side, I ended up putting in Velcro, and I sewed them in to make sure that it was very secure. I had to cut Rapunzel's sleeves, so I just did that really quick. The last step was adding on all of the ribbon, so I ended up having to do it along the collarbone. I just touched the mic. I had to add it all along the outer edge of the top, and I had to add some onto her sleeves. I again ended up running out of ribbon. I had to go back to the store and get more. For the low price of $49, this air fryer will kill your best friend. The last thing I had wanted to do, I wanted to try and put a design onto the skirt, but nothing was really coming out how I wanted it to. Like, I thought it looked okay, but I just didn't want to risk it.
I hit my head and probably have a concussion. So let's keep doing this. The window is open, so's that door. I didn't know they did that anymore.
Doors are all closed.
Hey, do you guys mind if I paint on the wall? It just feels a little drab in here.
No, it's like a rental. You can't do that.
Tangled is better than Frozen. Tangled the series is better than Frozen 2. Frozen wants what Tangled has. Pascal and I were playing hide and seek earlier because I couldn't find him for a while, and so here he is now. He's attached to me. He can't go anywhere. Okay, can we just talk about these pans, right? These are heavy. Rapunzel hits a man, Flynn Rider, in the head twice with one of these. And so she hits him so hard that he actually becomes unconscious for a very long period of time, right? That man has brain damage. And then she hits him again shortly after, which is called second impact syndrome, which I would know because I have a concussion. Because my one talent is getting concussions. So she kills that man. Flynn Rider, canonically dead. I'll get up. You're embarrassing. You okay? You good? Welcome to my cooking show. Today we are going to eat Pascal. That was just a joke. I'm kind of funny like that. I like to think I'm like the Joker.
After my little test run, I decided that I did need some long hair. Thanks to the world situation, it's a little bit hard to get wig material, so I braided some yarn and then I hot glued some flowers into it. And like any true Rapunzel, I decided that I needed to find myself a tower. Hi, I'm Rapunzel, and welcome to my crib. MTV. Rent here is $2,400 a month, utilities not included. This is the place where I met my boyfriend, Flynn Rider, and I gave him multiple concussions. He's dead now. Oh, come on in. I have to wear hiking boots now. I know I used to not wear any shoes, but there's a lot of ice in there. It's freezing up here. I'm so cold. Yeah. I'm the world's coldest woman. I'm a pretty princess. You wanna hang out?
Sure.
Grab it.
I can't reach.
Grab it.
It's not long enough.
Come on, just grab it. You know, I don't want you to come over anyway.
What?
Pascal, tell him.
So far away.
Yeah, I'm in a tower. That's how it works. You like my crown?
Oh, there. Yeah, I see it.
Nice?
Yeah.
Wow. What a beautiful world. I wish I could be a part of it. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? That's my song.
Oh, wow. Original.
Thank you. It's so cold. I'm free. Freedom. Freedom. And I cut my hair off. That's what this is.
Oh.
Thanks again for watching my video. Subscribe for more really good videos. See you later, bestie. Bless my soul, Herc was on a roll. Person of the weekend, every great opinion poll. What a pro. All materials today are crafted aside, well, I guess they're all crafted. All materials used were thrifted, except for the things that you can't really thrift, like zippers or myself. Literally, they're gonna say no. It's called Dirty Blonde, okay? Do they see this?